Let's Talk Design, where I share tips and hacks to help you design your home your way. It's your girl, Denise Joy. I am an interior designer, a space curator, 26-year college professor, and I am the founder of Learning to Live Abroad, where I share my step-by-step journey to retire and move abroad, and I help other women who want to retire and achieve their move abroad dreams. Welcome to this episode. Today's episode is inspired by Design Love, which is Design Love with Love, Meghan, a new show on Netflix. And trust me, it is trending, trending, trending. I am actually on my second watch. As you can tell by my energy, I am thrilled with the show, but it's trending and I want to share my top 10 takeaways and I want to hear your takeaways as well. Are you watching the show? Drop in the chat. Let's talk about it. Let me know. Are you watching? Today's episode fits absolutely perfectly in my series where I'm now focusing on how to design your home to fit your lifestyle. One of the principles that I practice is I encourage women to fill their home with things they absolutely love and that reflect their unique personality and their design style. Today's episode is going to, open you up, expand that kind of philosophy in your own life, in your own lived experience. So, with Love, Meghan is trending. Some of the trending is not as positive, but nonetheless is trending. People saying things like Meghan of Sussex is not the Duchess of Sussex. She's not relatable. The show isn't relatable. Just making like weird comments, but here's some of the trends in social media. What would Meghan do? WWMD. My Meghan life, like hashtags, right? I started my own hashtag, which is hashtag my with love. And then the Meghan effect, right? On things like the cookware, La Crusette, just selling out. The Sheila Bridges, the designer of Harlem Toile, and she's also an interior designer. She has a branded version of La Crusette, the cookware, and her line just sold out completely. Sheila Bridges is one of my interior design inspirations. I'm thrilled about that for her to be able to have that branded line doing so well. And Black women in particular really responding to With Love, the show, With Love, Meghan, in a really specific way. I am totally here for it. Before we jump into today's show, if you're new, if you are watching and joining me for the first time, make sure you hit subscribe and hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss any of my awesome, awesome videos. Also, drop in the chat. Let me know what country or state are you watching from, what made you join today, and if you have a question, definitely drop it in the chat. This show, With Love, Meghan, it's on Netflix. It's not a distraction. There's a lot going on in the United States right now, and also that happening here is just affecting the global atmosphere. It's affecting the countries all over the globe. But this show, in my opinion, is not a distraction. I believe that this show is the kind of focused self-care we all need right now. I just finished my series here on the podcast on declutter, downsize, and organize. I also felt that that was a absolutely necessary and vital self-care focus that everyone could benefit from. Paying inner attention, right? Your locus of control, your locus of operation, to say, what do I need to do here in my home that I can control? If you're joining in some of the less spending or buy nothing types of opportunities, that gives you a lot of energy and perhaps even more resources to pay attention inside your home. So I am here for it. I think there's so many things in the show. Anyone can find something of value. Again, let me know if you're watching. Have you watched? Do you plan to watch With Love, Meghan on Netflix if you just joined me? And thanks so much for all of you joining live. I really appreciate it. It just changes the energy when I have folks watching live, even though obviously this will become a video. So I don't care if you're into the soft life, or you're trying to get into the soft life, or you call yourself an urban homesteader, which is how I define myself, an urban homesteader, or you are a homesteader like with acreage, or you might say you want to become more of a homemaker, a homesteader, you want to garden, you want to learn more about medicinal plants. I mean, she literally covers it all. She doesn't use any of these terms or categories in the show, but that's literally what she is doing. She's lifting up all of these high value, high return, both emotionally, both on the care for yourself, friends, and family members. She's lifting all of that. So I'm going to jump into my first takeaway. Number one, do you, boo. Those of you who follow me regularly, you know that that's how I refer to when I'm working with my design clients. My goal is to get the client to do you, boo, but that means you got to know who you are. You got to trust your intuition. You got to tap into that which gives you joy, because that principle of joyful living centers you. It centers your preferences, the things that make you feel whole and complete. So again, I mentioned earlier that there had been a lot, or still is, a lot of hate, dislike, people saying she's unrelatable. I saw some Instagrammer said that we should look down on her because she didn't use her own kitchen, like her own home, in which to do the show. Like, that's super petty. Come on now. It's a production. You know what I mean? You got camera people, all kinds of people. Maybe she didn't want that in her home where her children, her family, and close family and friends and loved ones gather. So I think it's perfect that she has a home-like set up, and she's exploring the things. She's very transparent about. She had previously had a blog. A lifestyle blog where she had been doing this type of thing, sharing the things that she loves and she's learned and accumulated along the way. The other part, Black women. I'm speaking to everybody here, but Black women have always been homemakers, keeping a home running well. In the United States, I'm just going to take it back to when, Black people were human trafficked and became enslaved in this country. Those women were the homemakers. They kept the home running smooth. They helped keep everything, positioned well, cleaned, good food, used medicinal plants, edible flowers. People were, there was a huge outcry of her using edible flowers in the show. I'm a gardener. Nasturtiums is my favorite edible flower. I ate so many nasturtiums last year. I was just so sad when the season ended, because the nasturtium is not only beautiful and tasty, it's extremely healthy. It's just good for the body and the soul. Nasturtiums have a slightly spicy flavor to it. You can eat the stem, you can eat the leaves, you can eat the petals, and they're beautiful. They're beautiful. Orange, sort of the color here, right here in my shirt, actually, this variation, just stunning. So Black women have historically always been the lifestyle expert, okay? The homemaker expert, the gardener expert, the preparing luscious, yummy, beautiful food. So that's number one, do you, boo. Number two, you want to spend time nurturing yourself, your family, and your friends your way. Your way. Some people were talking about, well, she's advocating doing a lot of labor. Well, if you don't want that kind of labor, don't do it. That's absolutely fine. That actually takes me to number three. If you think cooking in the home is too laborious, is labor, then don't do it. Or you might shift and make that type of labor communal, right? Most of the shows, well, not most, all of the episodes, she has a friend come in and participate with her. But clearly, she loves cooking. I absolutely love cooking. I love to prepare food. I enjoy hosting. Like 90% of the things that Meghan did in the show With Love, Meghan, are things that I do on the regular, all the time. So it was my cup of tea, totally. So let me go back here. Nurture yourself. That was really central. Nurturing family and friends, building like those bonds, building the cords of care, special attention through saying I'm thinking of you was really central to this show. That's my number 2 takeaway. Number three, what are your takeaways? Thank you so much for joining me live here on Design Love. We are talking about the Netflix show With Love, Meghan. My top 10 takeaways. What are your takeaways if you've watched it already? Number 3, again, if you think that cooking is labor, then don't do it. But do not knock someone who loves it. Remember, there's enough for everybody. I go back to my number 1 takeaway. Do you, boo? Because I love it, or because Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, loves it. Let's not criticize. Let's not be punitive because someone is sharing and expressing the value they receive out of doing something. So I said I love cooking. So this weekend, pause. I love to make ahead meals because I'm pretty busy. And I love to eat food, and I call it repeatable eatables. It's so good, I don't mind eating it twice, right? So here's what I made over the weekend. I made a luscious, creamy sweet potato soup. Cannot wait to have that with some sourdough bread a couple of times this week. It's absolutely delicious. I made baked a sheet pan of yummy, creamy roasted potatoes with rosemary and thyme and garlic and red onions and a little olive oil. And I'm going to be able to take that and make that into other meals throughout the week. I also canned some apples. Actually, let me confess, my first time canning. I have been wanting to learn to can for at least 2 years. I should have done it during the pandemic, but I started this show, my YouTube channel. So I was busy with that. So I made my very first I canned some apples, 8 pints of apples. I'm so happy. Now, the next thing that I did with the apples was I took the peels and the cores and steeped them, and I made scratch-made homemade apple juice with honey and a little bit of vanilla. Now, excuse me, actually, I always had already been making my own homemade apple juice, which is actually something I got from my brother. Shout out to my brother, Anthony, who hooked me up with that idea. But I've been doing it consistently. So I had my own With Love Meghan whole thing with music playing. I play music on my record player and talk to people on the phone while I'm cooking and preparing. So number 3, if you think cooking is labor, don't do it, and don't knock somebody who loves it. Number 4, edible flowers is not a new thing. Just because you may have never heard of edible flowers, meaning the people watching the show and saying she's unrelatable, who does that? Right here, raising my hand in all the ways I can raise it. I love edible flowers. Cannot wait. In fact, I'm going to grow even more nasturtiums this year because I wished I had grown more last year. And that season, nasturtiums last a long time. They'll get a little bit leggy, which is long, or you could do trailing nasturtiums. Anyway, there's different kinds. But edible flowers is not a new thing. I'm going to grow them in my garden again. As I mentioned, you can eat the petals, the leaves, the stems. They're spicy. They have a lot of health benefits. I encourage you to look up nasturtiums and find out the value that you can receive. Hey, thanks so much for joining me live. I appreciate it. That you can receive from edible flowers. There's a lot more. What do you think chamomile? Like if you drink chamomile tea, chamomile is our flowers. That's exactly what they are. So dried chamomile tea, you can even eat the leaves. There's lots of edible flowers which have medicinal properties, meaning they're good for your health. So get into it. Just because you've never heard of it doesn't mean that Meghan Markle is unrelatable. Number 5, perhaps one of my most favorite takeaways, the guest experience. Meghan is big on the guest experience, and so am I. I actually had 2 separate guests stay with me over the past week and at different times. And I, just like Meghan, prepare gift baskets so that when my guests come, there's things in that gift basket to say, I appreciate you, I'm welcoming you. And they were so tickled. They loved, my guests loved it. So I put in their gift baskets, I put a gift mug specific to each guest. I made homemade, scratch made by me, my recipe, sweet heat granola. Nice little bag so if they want to have something to snack on. I also made my homemade version of a Snicker, which is dates, organic peanut butter, roasted peanuts and 85% cacao chocolate. And I make that up. It's not hard to make. And one of my guests said, I normally do not like dates, but she said, I ate those little mock Snicker up. She said, you could sell them. They were so good. And I put a little card in there with a little note for each guest. Something simple, something quick, the guest experience. When you have folks over, just go that little extra to say, I see you, I appreciate you, I care about you. We're going to have a warm time together. The guest experience, you're setting the tone. You're setting, you're setting a standard. I love the guest experience. I love to receive the guest experience, and I love to give a strong, meaningful, powerful guest experience when I have guests stay with me. Are you into the guest experience? Is that your cup of tea also when you have folks stay, whether it be family or maybe even friends, or you just have some guests over who need to stay with you for a bit of time? I once did a project in, it's about 2 hours away from me, St. Mary's, Maryland, and it was so lovely there. I always felt that the homeowner was just doing a little bit extra to show me that, she valued me coming and being there and valued me as a human being. So you don't have to do a ton. Maybe you're not into making homemade things, but just something thoughtful, even if it's just a little note card. Oh, thank you for letting me know. Imelda, appreciate you for watching live. The guest experience is really everything. It fills me with gratitude and gratefulness, and also it's a wonderful reflection memory. I even did a little video, like 19 seconds of the guest experience, and then I sent the guests the little video. They loved it. They were like, "Oh my God, it's so special." It did not take a long time, right? So make sure that you think of others. Number 6, hey y'all, thanks so much for joining me live here on Design Love. We're talking about With Love, Meghan, the new show on Netflix. I'm sharing my top 10 takeaways. I'd love to hear, if you've watched the show, what are your takeaways? Number 6 for me, the show left me with so much deep feeling and emotion. So I picked out 3 words that would describe the show: special, cherished, and joy. That was the common theme for me in every single episode, was that not just that the foods were special, how some of the materials like the bees, the gardening were special. It was treated as something very special and cherished. I don't think we think about the word cherishing enough. What do you cherish? I cherish when I'm able to go out using of my own volition. They say I'm still in my right mind and able to move, to go into my garden, to sow my seeds, to do the thing that's going to give me both nutrition, sustenance, and spiritual sustenance. So cherished and joy. Joy was really centered. My middle name is Joy. I focus joyful living here, joyful design on this channel. That was really paramount to me when she was interacting with all of her guests, from the tea parties to making the cake for the gentleman who was like her first makeup stylist, and doing things that are special. And that's something I want to elevate for me even more this year. And I think it's even more important with what's, kind of the unrest going on here in the United States. One way people talk about resistance, joy is resistance. Well, doing things that are more intimate, personal, special. We cherish each other, and we let each other know how we cherish each other, both by our word and our deed. Oh my good. Imelda, I promise you, I hope that I'm not hyping it up too much, right? Oh, hey, little Mac, what's up? Yes. I love that. And I also love that, you're right, that hosting shouldn't be stressful. And I also like that she repeatedly said things like, well, it's okay. We're not after perfection. right? It's all right. Now, you know, they got the little cream cheese on the crostinis just right for the show. But if we're doing that at home, in fact, I have the idea. I'm going to be hosting, I'm celebrating that my home is 100 years old this year. I'm so hyped about that. So I'm going to be planning my first. Thank you, Imelda. I appreciate that. Repeat. Yes. I try to put my whole heart and soul and passion into it. But I am going to be hosting. And so I think what I want to do, y'all let me know what you think of this idea. I think what I want to do is do where we're all preparing together. So it's really communal. Some of the dishes I'll have planned ahead because again I love to cook, but some things I'll have where we're just putting those together as a group. You know, I'm talking like anywhere from 8 to 10 guests, and really making it communal, doing little question prompt cards and stuff like that, some with jokes. I love to have fun. You know, I wish I could do something where we all of you who are my faithful subscribers and watching the show, and my newbies, I appreciate y'all coming in, where we could get together and do something. Oh, thank you so much, Little Mac. That's my thing. I love it. That's personality. Infusing. You said, Little Mac, for those of you who can't see Little Mac's comment, Little Mac said, I watched your show and I love all the unique touches you put in your home. I love that. Those unique details, you know, those are conversation starters, personality. And, you know, when I'm working with some clients, it can be tough for people to personalize their home. I think because we, you know, with the internet, we kind of really got more into making our homes a carbon copy of what we see like on a TV show, like a HGTV or something like that. You know, I'm sort of anti-trend, right? No all gray rooms, all gray blah, blah, blah. So I really appreciate you pointing that out. I love that for myself and helping others. So those are my 3 words to describe the show: special, cherished, and joy. I believe that's the vibe that the show with Love Meghan is pushing out there for all of us to center and to remember. Number 7. My number 7 takeaway: discovering new things is a good thing. When I was looking on Threads in particular, and I was just watching and tracking some of the trending kind of like you know, some of the complaining posts, or I call them, yeah, not so much hate posts, but they're complaining. And I thought to myself, most of these complaints are from people who seem like they don't want to learn something new. Discover something new. Open up your imagination. Open yourself up to something new, right? I have been curious about the whole bee. I can't have bees here. I can have a garden. I cannot have chickens. I can have rabbits, you know, the zoning where I am. But I'm thinking I'm going to go to somewhere. I'm going to find it here in Maryland. And I want to learn about bees. I want to learn about, you know, making honey, doing the wax. I have been curious about that for a couple of years. And so that was reignited when I was watching that, particularly that's in the first episode. She makes an incredible honey lemon, is it lemon, a honey layer cake, and that pasta, that creamy 1 skillet 1 pan pasta, that's all the rage. That's trending like crazy. I saw somebody who said they've made it 3 days in a row. They're gonna have to ration themselves, that it was so marvelous. So again, let the show open up your imagination. Do some of the things you see in the show. Someone made one of the parfaits. Again, I make so many things scratch made. Actually, I'll say this. I have a confession. I have a rule for myself: no bag, no box. Means I don't eat things out of a bag, meaning processed, or out of a box like crackers or something. And during the pandemic, because I had so much time, which is where I really developed I'm going to make my own food, because we were, you know, all home. I said, if I want to eat it, I have to try to make it first. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yes. That I have heard that too, Little Mac, about local honey and how good it is for the immune system. I do use organic honey, and I'll shout out Costco. I love the organic honey from Costco. So even when I'm making my homemade scratch-made apple juice, I use honey to sweeten it and a little touch of vanilla. Best apple juice I've ever tasted in my life. So how I do that is, if I'm making like an apple compote, which is not really a jam, but nonetheless I have to peel it and core it, I'm washing everything first so that wax buildup that might be on an apple that I've gotten from the store, I can get that off. Then I'm going to put it in a big pot of water, depending on how much you want to make. You let it steep low and slow, kind of like tea, until everything gets really soft. Strain it out. Put that honey in there, whether it's that good local honey or something you've bought that you trust, and let it get frothy. and then let it cool down, till it's cold. Put a little touch of vanilla in it and start and chill it. Put a little ice on it. Thank me. Send me a message and thank me, because it's going to be the best thing you've ever tasted in your life. And it's so less expensive. And I know what's in it because I've made it. So that was number 7, discover new things. Well, here, I've kind of segued myself into number 8, which is scratch-made foods are just way better. Scratch-made. Try to make it yourself. Create some time. Maybe you're not making all the things that she made, scratch-made, but you can make at least one thing. I saw a post on Blue Sky where someone actually had reposted my post about the scratch made apple juice, and the person was saying these are things we all should probably start doing, with the situation here in the U.S. and things just the tariffs, recession, and so on and so forth. Figure out how you can cut the cost as much as you possibly can, and try to do scratch made. Again, I made sweet potato soup. I had about 8 sweet potatoes, kind of medium size, and I had made gluten-free sweet potato based brownies. Anybody who wants that recipe, I have a video about that. They are phenomenal, and they were starting to just lose their firmness. So I said, "Oh, I'll make sweet potato soup." Super quick. I mean, the longest it took was to peel the sweet potatoes, even though I was using, a hand peeler. Chop them up, throw them in the water, let them simmer down. Don't strain the water out. Leave the water in there. If you use chicken stock, add some chicken stock or some better than bouillon cream, if that's what you use. All seasoned to taste. I used cayenne, allspice. I put some rosemary in there, a little garlic. And also I had caramelized some onions also to really melt those down. Put those in the pot, whisk, whisk, whisk. I don't drink regular milk, so I put a can of coconut milk in there that has some natural fat in it. Let it simmer low and slow, and it is phenomenal. I also made jasmine rice to go with that, and I'll have sourdough bread. So there, I have a wonderful, luscious meal. Very filling, extremely tasty. Again, made to my custom, my other philosophy here, custom on a budget. I have 2 more things of my takeaways here that the show really did encourage, that urban homestead. I have a small garden. I have both a container garden and I do a little bit of in-ground gardening, but I do a lot of composting because I want to keep nourishing my soil over the years. So urban homestead just means I'm not a homesteader with an acre, 2 acres, 10 acres. I do have a yard because I own my home, and I'm using what I have, and I'm in an urban setting, but I am doing small things on a small scale that you might do if you had, more land. I have a small compost area, just enough, right? And being able to nurture that. If you live in an apartment and you have access to a small balcony, you can do container gardening. You can grow lettuce. You can grow herbs at minimum. You can grow tomatoes. There's so many things. You can grow mustard greens. You can even grow collard greens. I'm naming the things that I'm going to be sowing here I'm at the later end of my sowing season, so I'm getting ready to do turnip greens, mustard greens, collard greens, and broccoli. And I'm also doing lettuce, but I already have like spring onions already going. You can do spring onions, super easy. Matter of fact, here's a hack. You can buy spring onions from the grocery store. Use them, but keep that little piece that most people throw away. Just stick it in some water, and oh, Shirley, I love that. You are the best. Come through. Oh, I wish I had like a little sound they have on TikTok when you press the button and it cheers. Shirley, yes, your bedroom is your own. Yes, come through. We'll do the snap. My students in college, they don't snap. They do this now. I don't know where this comes from, but I call it, let's do the chime. So yes, Shirley, yes. So to finish this hack, you can take a spring onion, let it root, stick it in some dirt, just like a small pot, and you can keep growing your spring onions and use them actually all year. Spring onions will still grow throughout the winter. You just need to water them, snip them, and you'll find that you'll use your herbs in more unique ways. You'll think of other ways, like what can I put this parsley in? What can I put this cilantro in? What can I put this, these spring onions in? You'll sprinkle them in more things. My last takeaway is that you are responsible. You are the visionary for the life, the joyful life that you can have. Really, your only limitation is your imagination, right? So, it doesn't take a ton of money either to do things that inspire joy and that you can fill with the synergy of love and care and attention and nurturing yourself and other people. Again, I think that this show is a wonderful, it's not a distraction. It's the self-care we need right now. It's the self-care prompt. It's, oh, take this one thing from this show. Again, there's a lot going on in the United States. Step away, do this, focus your heart, focus your attention in this way. Make a cupcake, make those little sweet little donuts she made. Cut, if you have children, cut up their sandwiches. I used to do that for my son. Make my, my last name is Hart, and I used to do the little heart shape for his sandwiches and things like that. And they think that's so cool, right? That you're doing something with going extra, and you teach them to do that themselves. I appreciate you all for joining me live today for Design Love Podcast. I always close this podcast out with an affirmation, right? I encourage you to take these affirmations and embody them. That just means own it and live by it and do it. Hey, little Mac, you agree? Yes, a lot of what she did doesn't cost much. Yeah, taking a walk with a friend, sitting, enjoying the sunset. Come on. Come on. Ooh, if there was no other time, I think we should always incorporate those types of things into our lives. But right now, we need this infusion, to me. All right? That's in my humble opinion, as they say. We need more of this. They said, more, please, more. We need more of this. And we need for it to continue. Right? I've said this before, and I stand by it. The whole kind of the overconsumption culture, usually I find here in the U.S., this kind of hustle, do it, do it, do it. Sit back, chill, relax. It doesn't mean that you're not productive, right? It doesn't mean that at all. So let's do our final affirmation. I am surrounded by the best vibes in my home. My home is filled with love, and I share it liberally. You can do this. If you already are doing this, kudos to you. If you want to expand more of that energy, that aesthetic, that vibe in your home, it's possible. You don't need a ton of money to do it. Your imagination is really the driver. Again, I thank you for joining me here for Design Love Podcast. Let's talk design. This is where I share tips and hacks to help you design your home your way. This podcast drops on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you haven't joined me live and you are watching this video replay, let me know what state or country you are joining me from. If you have a question, drop it in the chat and let me know what are your top takeaways from With Love Meghan on Netflix. Oh, wonderful. Thanks so much for joining me live, Little Mac. I appreciate everybody. Y'all have a absolutely marvelous day. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, Imelda. I appreciate it.